my relationship with, I knew I'd get a little bit emotional, but I'll get over it in a minute. But my relationship with Rinpoche goes back like 45 years. When I think about Kadampa Center, I think about Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa. And of course, His Holiness. But, you know, some of you who've been around a long time, you know, might remember this, but, you know, when we were in the basement and Lama Zopa came for the very first time, and we'd received, you know, the Shakyamuni Buddha statue had come from India. We already had the Lama Tsongkhapa. Anyway, the Buddha statue came, and as we were blessing the Buddha statue, it was a beautiful sunny day, and all of a sudden there was a rainbow over Kadampa Center as Lama Zopa and Geshe Soga were doing the prayers to consecrate the statue. And probably that year or a year later, we asked him, like, what's the best thing we can do to benefit the Buddha Dharma and, you know, help our center grow? And he said, get a Kala Chakra statue about that tall, you know? And he pointed to this 8-foot tall column. Well, didn't happen. Not that big, but we got one. And then the next thing, he loved to put people to work. So the next thing was the Kadampa Stupa. I said, okay, what would benefit the center? And he said, build a Kadampa Stupa. So that took forever to do, but they got done. If you ask him, what can I do? He's going to put you to work. He's going to have projects for his students to build, you know, to stay engaged and to create virtuous karma, because that's how he rolled. Anyway, 3 more minutes, Geshe?
Yeah.
Lama Zopa, he always said he would talk for half an hour and then he would talk for 3 hours. I'm not going to do that. But I mean, just a couple of thoughts. I mean, you know, he was the real deal. I mean, he was a holy being, and most of us don't have an opportunity in a lifetime to meet somebody who 100% walks the talk. And the first, when I was at Copan back in 78, I heard him, you know, he comes walking in. The first time I met him, he's only a few years older than I am, by the way. Can I tell you where I am?
Check the video.
In the scheme of things, but this little skinny monk, you know, comes up. I didn't know who he was, and he starts teaching, and you know, everybody's just writing every word down, and then you hear about him. You hear stories like he never lays down, he never sleeps, he does dream yoga if he does anything, you know, and that's true. He doesn't lay down for, you know, I don't know, maybe the last 60 some years. He does his practice. He sits up all the time. He's always, you know, doing his Dharma practice. And the last time Robbie and I went to see him at Navitos in California a couple of years ago, and he has attendance. I mean, he's up all night long doing prayers for his students. Somebody's sick in Singapore, somebody's sick in Patagonia, or somebody's wherever, you know, wherever they are in the world. He's always, you know, and his mantra, if you know, he he didn't make any bones about it. He said the purpose of life is to benefit others. You know, the purpose of life is actually to get enlightened, so you really can benefit others. He didn't. You know, a lot of people wonder about what's the purpose of my life. Well, Lama Zopa will tell you in a second. The purpose of your life is to use every precious moment to transform your mind and heart and grow it to become more and more like a Buddha, to grow your Buddha nature. So he was very, and then in a way, his main heart message, you could almost change the name of every Dharma center that he's responsible for, and there are hundreds of them, is for the practice of bodhicitta. That was his main message, bodhicitta. You know, the awakening mind, the altruistic intention to be enlightened. That was his. He emphasized that so many times. You know, compassion, bodhicitta, wisdom. So, anyway, you know, some people ask me, well, you know, do I miss him? Yeah, of course I miss him. I didn't even get to see him the last couple of years, but he will. For those of us who made a heart connection with him, he'll be. It's like Lama Yeshe. He's been gone a long time, since '83, and I think about him every day. And I feel that way about Lama Zopa. I don't think I'll ever not be with, you know, he won't be with me. So, you know, to the degree that we can keep, and to the degree that you have a connection with Lama Zopa, and you can keep him in your heart, he will continue to guide us in our spiritual practice. So it's, I think it's amazing. You know, it's those of you who know anything about the Kadampa Center know that there would not be this place without Rinpoche. So I think whatever, you know, Buddha, whatever benefit that we've received from this building, being in this spiritual community and studying Buddha Dharma, we owe it to Rinpoche. He's the heart of everything that goes on here, and without him, we wouldn't have Geshe. He kind of fingered Geshe and said, "You need to go to Kadampa Center." So, thankfully, Geshe, you know, took Lama Zopa's recommendations, and so he's been here for 20 years. And before that, it was Geshe Soga. So many wonderful teachers we've had over the years. We owe that to, you know, I'll get everything to Lama Zopa. And then before him, Lama Yeshe. I think Robbie is the only other person who met Lama Yeshe besides myself. And did you ever meet Lama Yeshe, Geshe?
Only one time.
Yeah. He was the good cop. He was the bad cop. But they together, they were an incredible team and inspired like generations of people. So this morning, all over the world, people are mourning the loss of this holy being, and it is a loss, but he obviously would want us to continue to practice and to put into practice his words. So that's the take-home message. Is that as much as possible, we continue to put his teachings and pray, you know, that the Dharma will survive, and that we can live, you know, we can walk basically like he did, walk the talk. The words are cheap, but to really be able to live these words like he did is pretty amazing. So we're grateful for you, Geshe.
As Dr. Brown explained everything, due to the kindness of Rinpoche, that the center is like flourishing and like. So now today is not the happiest day, one of the saddest day in our life. So now what we need to do, we need to remember Rinpoche's advice: impermanent bodhicitta, altruistic attitude. And remember Rinpoche's advice. So there's many videos you can watch on the APMT website, the Rinpoche's teachings. So the best offering that we can offer to Rinpoche is to remember his advice and try to implement our day-to-day life for the sake of our happiness and happiness for all mother living beings. So that is the best offerings, that your practice is the best. You are putting Rinpoche advice into your day-to-day life and try to implement and practice. That's the best offerings. So Rinpoche want all of us to liberate from the samsara and achieve nirvana. So Kadampa Center is very much blessed. So Rinpoche came here many times. So we are very fortunate to host the Light of the Path of Retreat like 4 or 5 times. I think, so but it's not only center, but Kadampa Center is Rinpoche visited many times. So some of you already received teaching from Rinpoche. So what I'm going to say is like, including myself, putting my day-to-day life, putting Rinpoche's advice and implementing Rinpoche's advice in our day-to-day life, and remember his advice and keep that in your heart. Okay, so Rinpoche does not need any prayer, but why we are gathering here to pray? So we are hoping and praying Rinpoche reincarnation will return very soon on this planet. So that's what the prayer is dedicated for. So Rinpoche's quick return on this planet. Okay. Oh yeah. So then again, thank you very much, all of you, for coming here. So now, yeah. So first we chant refuge and bodhicitta prayer. We chant. So follow up by 4 immeasurables. So then the foundation of good qualities. So whatever then the list, and everything after that. Oh yeah.
Sangye Chedan Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chinye Jipe Sonam Ji Andola Penji Sangye Tupa Shok Sangye Chedan Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chinye Jipe Sonam Ji Dola Penchu Sangye Tupa Shok Sangye Chedan Soki Chonam La Janchu Badu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chinye Gipe Sonam Ji Dola Penchu Sangye Tupa Shok. I'll turn to page 37.
Maybe now someone say in English, but better.
Oh, in English?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll recite this 3 times. Page 34. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends or hatred. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends or hatred for enemies. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends or hatred for enemies. Now turn to page 137. Yes. And we'll read the foundation of all good qualities together. 137. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful, and is difficult to find again, please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes this essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just as a shadow follows the body, the results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. Root of the teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing migratory beings. Even if I merely develop bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I have pacified distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzed the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training on the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, a basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I have become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely our outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. From your sublime abode of the Potala, O Tara, born from the green letter tongue, your crown adorned with Amitabha, action mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times, Tara, please come with your attendants. The gods and demigods bow to your lotus feet, O Tara. You who rescue all who are destitute, to you, Mother Tara, I pay homage. Oh, I prostrate to the noble transcendent liberator. Homage, Tara, swift heroic, eyes like lightning instantaneous, sprung from opening stamens of the Lord of the world-stripped lotus. Homage, she whose face combines 100 odd moons at fullest, blazing with white blazes splendid, as a 1,000-star collection. Golden bloom and lotus, water-born and hand-adorned, giving effort calm austerities, meditation, patience, her sphere. Homage, Tathagatas, actions tried without without limit, relied on by conqueror's children, having reached every perfection, filling with tutare, whom desire direction and space, trampling with their feet the seven worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Homage worship by the all-Lord, Shaka Ane Bamamaru, honored by the host of spirits, corpusers, Gandharvas, Yakshas. Homage with her tray and pay sound, destroying post-magic diagrams, her free pressing left out right and blazing in a raging fireplace. Destroyer very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions, she with frowning lotus visage, who was slayer of all enemies. Homage at the heart her fingers, adorn her with three jewel mudra, light masses all excited, all directions feels adorn her. Homage she so joyous radiant, crown emitting garlands of light, mirthful laughing with tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. Homage she able to summon all earth guardians assembly, shaking frowning with her home sign, saving from every misfortune. Homage crown adorned with crescent, moon on ornaments most shining. Amitabha in her hair knot, sending out much light eternal. Homage she with wreath ablaze like eon denning fire abiding. Worship and choice around you, troops of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and her foot beats it, scowling with the letter whom the seven levels she just conquered. The gently purchased peace, he whose field is peace nirvana. She endowed with Om and Soha, destroyer of the great evil. Homage she with joy surrounded, tearing post bodies asunder. Freezes whom in knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters. Homage to the seed letter of the shape of syllable. Biped sampling shakes the 3 rules, Meru, Mandra, and Vindhya. Which holding in her hand the hermic leg form with my spoken tar, totally dispelling. And the keener rise to honor, armored in with voiceless splendor, she dispels wrenchings and conflicts. Homage she is twice bright with radiance of sun and moon, with white sorrow and tutare, she dispels severe contagion. Homage filled parading, power, set of 3 natures, crystals of severe yakshas, and with corporate supreme today. These phases with mantras and prostrations of Star 21. Oh, I prostrate to the noble transcendent liberator. Homage tower swift heroic, eyesight lighting instantaneous, from opening stamens of the Lord Ethereal Turbine Lotus. Homage whose face combines 100 odd moons at fullest, blazing with bright spaces splendid as a 1,000-star collection. Homage golden blue and lotus, waterborne and hand adorned, giving effort calm austerities, patience meditation her sphere. Homage crown of Tathagatas, actions shrined without limit, relied on my conqueror's children, having reached every perfection. Homage filling with tutare, whom desire direction and space, trampling with their feet the 7 worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Homage worship by the all-Lord, Shaka Ani Bamamaru, honored by the host of spirits, corpusers, Gandharvas, Yakshas. With her tray and pay sound, destroying false magic diagrams, her free pressing left out right and blazing in a raging fireplace. Homage to the very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions, she with frowning lotus visage, who was sayer of all enemies. Homage at the heart her fingers, adorn her with 3 jewel mudra, lively masses all excited. All directions. Homage she so joyous radiant, crowding mending garlands of light, mirthing laughing with tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. Homage she able to summon all earth guardians assembly, shaking frowning with the home sign, saving from every misfortune. Homage crown adorned with crescent, moon ornaments were shining. Amitabha in her hair knot, sending out much light eternal. Homage she with wreath ablaze like eon denning fire abiding, marks of lip and joy surround you, troops of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and her foot beats it, scowling with the letter whom the 7 levels she does conquer. Homage happy, virtuous, peaceful, she whose field is peace from Nirvana. She endowed with Om and Soha, destroyer of the great evil. Homage she with joy surrounded, tearing foes bodies asunder, freezes whom in knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters. Homage to her with seed letter of the shape of syllable. 5 foot something 6 is 3 rows. Meru Mandra and Vindhya. Homage holding in her hand the Himrakun of Deva Lake. With white spoken Tara and Pei. Totally dispelling poise. Homage she whom gods and their kings and the Kinnaras do honor. Armored in all joyful splendor, she dispels her dreams and conflicts. Homage she is twice bright with radiance of sun and full moon. With Vaisara and Tutare, she dispels severe contagion. Homage full of liberating, powered by the set of 3 natures. Geshe Sosa spirit yakshas and race corpus supreme Ture. These praises with her mantras and prostrations of Star 21. All my prostrate to the noble transcendent liberator. Homage Tara swift heroic, eyesight lightning instantaneous, from opening stamens of the Lord of the Earth's triple lotus. Homage she whose face combines 100 ardent moons at fullest, blazing with my rays resplendent as a 1,000-star collection. Homage golden bloom and lotus, waterborn in hand adorned, giving effort calm austerities, patience, meditation, her spirit. Homage crown of Tathagatas, action strength without limit, relied on my conqueror's children, having reached every perfection. Homage feeling with Tutare, whom desire direction and space, trampling with their feet the 7 worlds, able to draw forth our beings. Homage worship by the All-Lord, Shakti-Ani Bhamamari, honored by the host of spirits, corpusers, Gandhavas, Yakshas. Homage with their trained pay sound, destroying false magic diagrams, perfect present outright and blazing in a raging fireblaze. Homage to the very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions. She with frowning lotus visage, who was slayer of all enemies. Homage at the heart her fingers, ordain her with Rijo Mudra. I've been masses all excited, all directions feels adorned. Homage she's so joyous radiant, crown emitting garlands of light, mirthful laughing with Tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. Homage she able to summon all Earthians assembly, shaking frowning with their home sign, saving from every misfortune. Homage crown adorned with crescent, Luna must go shining. Amitabha in her hair knot, sending out much light eternal. Homage she with wreath ablaze like eon denning far abiding. Blessed let the joys around you, troops of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and her foot beats it, scowling with the letter whom the 7th level she just conquered. Homage happy, virtuous, peaceful, she whose field is peace nirvana. She endowed with Om and Soha, destroyer of the greedy. Homage she was joy surrounded, tearing foes' bodies asunder. Praises whom in knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters. Homage Ture with seed letter, of the shape of syllable. 5 foot something 6 is 3 rows, Meru Mandara and Vindhya. Homage holding in their hand the Himrakun of Deva like form, with spice spoken Tara and Pei, totally dispelling poison. Homage whom gods and their kings and the Kinnaras do honor, armored in all joyful splendor. She dispels her dreams and conflicts. Homage she was bright with radiance of sun and foam, with Vaisara and Tutare, she dispels severe contagion. Homage full of liberating, powered by the set of 3 natures, Joseph spirit yakshas and race corpus supreme Ture. These praises with the room mantras and prostrations of Star 21. Now the prayer of the benefits. Whoever is endowed with devotion for the goddess and recites this with supreme faith, remembering at dawn upon waking and in the evenings, will be granted all fearlessness, will perfectly pacify all negativities, and eliminate all unfortunate migrations. The multitudes of conquerors will quickly grant initiation. Thus endowed with this greatness, one will eventually reach the state of a Buddha. If affected by the most terrible poison, whether ingested, drunk, or from a living being, just while remembering, will one be thoroughly cleansed. If this prayer is recited 2, 3, or 7 times, will pacify all the sufferings and torments caused by fevers and poisons, and by other beings as well. If you wish for a child, you will get a child. If you wish for wealth, you will receive wealth. All your wishes will be fulfilled, and all obstacles pacified. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Akewadi nu dumuda Hamadoma Drukyude Doma Chikyam Malupa Dei Sala Gepasho Om Mani Padme Hum Mani Padme Hum Om 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 Mani Padme Hum
Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om Mani Padme Hum Om M
Om Mani Padme Hum. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, with the mind laid down by oppression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn be restored. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may these never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people keep benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then, dispel the miseries of the world. Then on page 198, we'll say some mantras for Geshe and Geshe Sampo's long, healthy, happy lives. Geshe Sampo is in retreat. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Om Taritu Taritu Soha. Om Taritu Taritu Soha. Om Taritu Taritu Soha.
Rinpoche, probably you know, so the Kadampa Center is like the part of the bigger organization called APMT, which is like 100 and some center. And Rinpoche probably, as Dr. Brown said, Dr. Brown probably met Dr. Watkins, Dr. Brown, so they, and then Herb is here, so there are many, like Joanna, Patrick, there's many of them. So if I forget your name, please forgive me. So the center was started without Rinpoche's blessing. This center will not be here, Rinpoche's blessing. So Dr. Brown and Herb, there's some like earlier founder of the center, they plant the seed, so that now it's grown like this. So Rinpoche, Lama Zopa Rinpoche is FMT spiritual directors. The Lama Yeshe is the founder of the APMT organizations. Then when Lama Yeshe passed away in 1984, 83, somewhere there, so then Rinpoche took over the responsibilities. So then Rinpoche, after that, the APMT organization grew. And as I mentioned before, we are like fortunate enough to receive Rinpoche here multiple times. So then like when Rinpoche comes here, so like just being in the same room with the Rinpoche, that your disturbing thought just disappear. That you can't like think it. It's hard. It's like that's you could say that's the energy, the amount of energy that Rinpoche brings. Rinpoche dedicate all his life practicing Dharma. Like as Dr. Brown mentioned, hardly lay down. So we are very fortunate. And the Rinpoche, spiritual director of all the FMT organizations. So we, Kadampa Center, follow Rinpoche's advice wholeheartedly. And whatever Rinpoche told us, we try to, practice. So as Kalachara statue, Kadampa Center stupas, where stupa should be built, all of that. So, and my teacher, so, then if you want to know the detailed information, so you can look at the FAMT website. So there's a detailed information about Rinpoche's life stories, FAMT organizations, about Lama Yeshe, all of that, okay?
So I want to just take this moment to thank Don Brown and to tell everyone, especially people who haven't been around for a very long time, that I view Don Brown as like the teacher. Lama Zopa Rinpoche has been, will continue to be our teacher with a capital T. Don Brown has been the teacher's assistant, the teaching assistant, since the 1980s at least. He founded Kadampa Center in about 1993. If it is only because of Don's deep, profound, tenacious, persistent, visionary devotion to his teachers, Lama Zopa Rinpoche and Lama Yeshe, that Kadampa Center exists at all. If it were not for Don and his sidekick, Dr. Watkins, none of us would have met Rinpoche. We would not have Geshe Gelek. We would not have had Light of the Path. We would not have had all the wonderful visits to Kadampa Center on top of Light of the Path that Lama Zopa Rinpoche blessed us with. Don Brown changed my life in profound, wonderful ways. And while we mourn and celebrate our connection to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, I want to hold up for all of us our deep debt of gratitude to Don and to Robbie for bringing us these blessings. I will never cease to be grateful and to remember how much we owe Don and Robbie.
Okay, Rob.
Oh, thank you. Well, just, there's so much that could be said. And just to follow up on what Julie said to some degree, I'm surprisingly not sad in a lot of ways. I mean, I've been thinking about Rinpoche, like I said, since Thursday morning, but there is a lot of rejoicing in my mind. I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way. And certainly, as Kadampa Center, we can collectively rejoice that we created the karma to have, a connection with Rinpoche that I'll tell you was the envy of every FPMT center in the world. That we were chosen to host the Light of the Path year after year. It wasn't just luck, it was the creation of an incredible amount of good karma. People coming to Kadampa Center when there were only 3 people here, or when the weather was bad, or when you were tired and run down. It just paid off. It was just multiplied 1,000,000 times over. Like they said, we saw it in our lifetimes. They say if positive seeds planted, it ripens, to the nth degree. And we saw that in our relationship with Rinpoche. So just like to bring up the word rejoicing. There's so much to rejoice in now.